Every speaker wants to see success, to be on the right stages and to reach the right people who are ready to receive their message. So how do you do that? Well, one of the best ways is to join a community of speakers that can support you. The Professional Speakers Association of Southern Africa, or the PSASA, is the place to be. Today, we're talking to PSASA Joburg Chapter Speaker Liaison, Kim Vermaak, known as the Mindset Whisperer, an author and speaker who has something to share with you. But as a speaker liaison, she has a special role in the PSASA Joburg Chapter. Kim, welcome, and tell us, what do you do?
Thank you so much for having me. So, when I started into my speaker journey, I realized that it's not just about getting on stage and speaking and sharing your heart. It's actually a profession. And because it's a profession, you need to have professional standards. So what the organization does is it has a look at what are the key elements that you need to present yourself well as a business owner, to get paid, and to have that kind of standards where people really want to book you. So the organization has got a mandate, an educational mandate, in which we have to get speakers from within our community and also outside of our community who can train our speakers or teach our speakers about those kinds of elements that are important. And that can be anything from stagecraft, marketing. We've got a whole set of rules that we judge and evaluate our speakers by, that basically have to add value to our community so that we can upskill. So when I look at people, it's incredibly difficult because sometimes I hear about a talk and I'm like, oh, that person is just absolutely amazing. I want to hear more about them. But then I have to say, are they going to be able to meet our educational mandate? So that's basically my role, is to find people that can assist our speakers.
That is such an important role because education is at the heart of what the PSASA offers its members. Belonging to the PSASA means you are actually receiving a world-class speaker training. And you're the person who makes this happen in Joburg. Is that right, Kim?
That's correct. And I approach it from a level of what would I want to know? What did I want to know going into the industry? Because we've got some professional speakers in our organization that have already forgotten what some members have to learn. So I have to look at it and say, what does a new person need to know? And surprisingly, as I've journeyed along, I find that there are some elements that the new speakers are learning that established speakers don't actually know already. Recently, I launched my own power wheel, and some of the more established members said to me, how did you actually put that together? Because when they started their career, they didn't need to have that. But now more and more event coordinators are asking for power wheels. So along the way, we've got to work with the new people and the established people who are needing to revisit certain aspects of the way they present themselves.
That's fascinating. And I love the way that you've been able to share that and involve the local speaking community, and then also a wider range of speakers from around the country, around the region, and sometimes even around the world. That's really exciting to see.
Thank you. And that brings me to the point that you are going to be the next speaker. And I'm going to just tell people why I selected you. And that's because we've all heard the buzzword about podcasts, but as new speakers and even sometimes established speakers, you have these questions. How do I get on a podcast? I know that it's important for my brand, but how do I get on there? Are there certain criteria that I need to have in place before I go on there? And with the kind of work that you've done, and I've been watching you from a distance, the kind of stuff that you're giving out to people, I was really impressed with that. And I said, if there's anyone that is going to be able to hold our hand through that process, Marie is going to be. So that's why I've invited you, kind of a little bit selfishly as well, because I'm like, I want to pick Marie's brain. So Obviously everyone else is going to be benefiting from it, but there's that aspect for me, like, what do I want to find out from this particular speaker? So that brings me to the point to ask you to give us a little teaser on what you're going to be discussing inside the next meeting.
Yes. Well, Kim, I'm so glad that you selfishly are interested in this topic, because it's one that can really, really benefit every person that is joining this session. Now, we get roped into a lot of things that as speakers we should be doing. And I think it's exhausting many people, because we're hearing all these things. You should do this, you should do this. And we are working really, really hard to put out all that content. And that's not always very credible. Now, a podcast is a great way to, rather than say how wonderful you are, just go out and prove it. And sometimes a conversation with a good podcast host is a great way to do this. But there are some reasons why podcasts are exceptionally powerful for your search engine optimization, for expanding your brand, for allowing people to understand more about you that you would never say if you weren't provoked by the question that came from an interviewer. But also something else, and that is the possibility of reaching a committed niche audience. A committed niche audience like you find in a podcast, because podcasts tend to center around communities of passion. But I won't give away too much just now. It is worth knowing that there are ways to choose the right podcasts, to avoid getting onto the wrong ones, and to make it easy. So I'll be sharing a lot of these secrets, as well as a little trick I learned with a client that can help to expand your reach tremendously, showcase you, and help you build up all that content and credibility where you can really show it to people. And we'll also be diving into a case study of what really has worked for this client. And I think there'll be a lot of inspiration there. Of course, it's also important to know that there are traps, and we'll be talking about that too. And by the end of the session, people will come away with a virtual goodie bag that is crammed and jammed with good stuff for boosting their podcasting presence and other media strategies.
Oh, that sounds very exciting. I'm going to have my notebook with me, and I'm going to tell everyone who has already joined, who's already registered, to bring their notebook as well. But for those people who don't know, how do people register? They're going to go onto our website and they are going to book. If you are a first-time person that's going to be visiting our organization, you get a free ticket. After that, if you are a returning member or returning visitor, then you're going to have to pay for it. So, if you're a first-timer, I would jump in right now, so that you can grab hold of this thing. And of course, December is coming up as well. So some people tend to take a bit of time off, and that's my strategy time. So those people who come to this particular event, you can know that December, your work is cut out for you, because you are going to be creating your media strategy based on what we're going to learn from you.
Absolutely. And on the goodies you'll be taking home. So that is something to really look forward to. And I can't wait to see which Joburg chapter members and also other aspiring speakers come to join us for this incredible session.
Yeah. Oh, and saying that about other aspiring members, if you're in the Pretoria region or you anywhere in the country, you can come through as well. People who are members of the organization, who are paid up members of the organization, they can visit any branch for free. So whether you're from Cape Town or Durban or Polokwane or wherever, you can pop into the Johannesburg chapter. Please just remember to register online, because we do catering, and so we have to book those numbers.
Yes, and that means there's not only this whole session for anybody who attends, there's also fabulous snacks and the chance to meet the other members who are present and other guests. So it's going to be a great opportunity to network and have a wonderful evening and come away with some incredible inspiration and information.
And lastly, we have our convention that's coming up in April. So best you book your tickets. So
before the year ends, there's a lot of benefit to registering before the year ends.
Absolutely. So when that Christmas bonus comes, or that extra paycheck comes because of all of the speaking work that you're going to be doing at the end of the year, invest in yourself and be ready for the convention.
Absolutely. It's an unmissable opportunity. That lineup of speakers at the PSASA Convention 2024 is just jaw-dropping. It is incredible value, a fantastic opportunity, and a chance to learn from true masters. Tim, thank you so much for this chat, for updating us on the education mandate of the PSASA, and for such a warm invitation to come and join the upcoming session and the sessions following that.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
See you there.